Greetings, cultivators from around the world. Jordan River here coming at you with things and stuff for your garden and such. By the way, speaking of garden, Rhino's in the chat. Rhino's in the garden. Rhizo Rich, everybody. That's what that means. Rhizo Rich is back on the line. We're here to talk about Seed Co. We're here to talk about the fucking kick-ass stuff going on in membership. And then most importantly, it's Crobevember. We talk about microbe products. Now, listen, at a certain point, I believe I say, yeah, we've just about mentioned every major cannabis-facing microbe. There's so many we forgot. There's so many to cover, and there's so much more in-depth study and exploration to be done here on the podcast, from talking about the different species of bacteria in these types of products to the different concentrations in each product. This is just a kind of precursor, beginning overview of a microbe product deep dive that we're going to be doing between this podcast and between membership. So Rhizo Rich really knows a lot about these products and has used all of them personally, which is even more important to me. So I know you're really going to love this exploration, and stay tuned for more. And I know I left out a bunch. So, I mean, as soon as I got off, I was thinking of them. So anyways, we will be doing more on this topic. And I know you're going to love today's Rhino Rich episode. Before we get into it, though, Blue Mat code ends in 2 days. You have today and tomorrow to get 10% off your Blue Mat irrigation systems. This is how I grow now. I'm never going back. I had members and team members, Wolfman and these guys talking about how they're, huge fans of the Blue Mat. So of course we bring them on. Members are crushing with them. I get them in my garden, you guys. If I can set them up, anyone can set them up. They're freaking amazing. 10% off sustainablevillage.com is where you can find the Blue Mats, and 10% off with code GrowCast. That's code GrowCast, and that only goes for 2 more days. Don't sleep on this. I thought I was watering properly. Let me tell you, I wasn't. So you got 2 more days. Go ahead and grab a Blue Mat. Use code GrowCast at sustainablevillage.com. And thank you to Sustainable Village for offering these codes. They are limited time codes, so this will be gone. You want to grab it, but it's really cool of them to do that when they come on the show. So thank you to Michael and Sustainable Village. All right, everybody, let's get into it with Rhizo Rich. Thank you for listening and enjoy the program. Hello, podcast listeners. You are now listening to GrowCast. I'm your host, Jordan River, and I want to thank you for tuning in again today. Before we get started, as always, I urge you to share the show. Tell a grow me it's the best thing you can do. Turn someone else on to growing. It's the most impactful thing that you can do. Turn them on to the show if they're ready to learn more about cultivation. Also, be sure to check out our membership program. That's at growcastpodcast.com/membership. We're going to be talking about that today. Amazing what we got going on in there. And that's in large part due to my partner, Rhizo Rich, who helps me out with membership. What's up, Rich? How you doing today, man?
Good. How about you, man? How's Hawaii?
Excellent. Yeah, see, I am recording this from Hawaii. If you notice a slight difference in the audio quality, I am doing this over Zoom. I'm in the islands right now. Man, it is so cool, Rich. The Hawaiian culture is so cool to begin with, and kind of the Hawaiian scene out here. But the cannabis scene is something that I just never really got to dig into until this trip. And man, it's amazing. It's booming out here, and the genetics they're using, and it's wild, Rich.
Damn, that is so cool. Yeah, I'd love to see how the scene is out there. I bet it's very interesting, and I bet they have some strains that we don't really get to see around here too much,
Yeah, undoubtedly, man. I was talking with Molokai Kevin on a GCTV for members. If anybody's interested, you got to go check that out. It was one of the most interesting GCTVs we ever did. This guy's been growing for 40 years in Hawaii. And I was asking him about the Molokai Frost, which is a rare strain from the small island of Molokai, which kind of got out. They got out to the mainland and came from the leper colonies that were disbanded in 1969 when they got the medicine that controlled the leprosy. Dude, it's fucking crazy, the rich history of strains here. The rich history, pardon the pun.
Damn.
Yeah, it's wild shit.
Yeah, that's pretty badass, man.
Yeah, I urge anyone who's interested in that, go check out membership and check out the GCTV with Molokai Kevin. Just absolutely incredible. But yeah, speaking of strains, man, I'm trying to get my hands on as many seeds as I can while I'm out here and everywhere. But you've just been killing it, Rich. I got to thank you here on the main podcast. A lot of people don't know your breeding work, primarily, again, taking care of the members who have been so supportive. But Rich, the stuff that you're breeding is fucking incredible. After speaking with Jeff Lowenfels and learning about the rhizophagy cycle and how bacteria transmit, I wonder how much of these strains coming out of your garden, which has been microbe rich for so many years, I wonder how much that contributes to just how fire
these lines are. I've seen some lycanthrope from the Ice Cream Wolfman line that just knocked my socks off. I've seen some, obviously, peach supernovas. Peachquake, which is now going to be your next male choice, might be one of the best strains I've ever smoked in my life, man. It's up there as far as top experiences ever. So thank you. And also, what can you tell us about this Peachquake line that you're working on?
Well, thanks, dude. I really appreciate all those kind words. It's always super flattering to hear that. I agree that Peachquake is it's something special, man. Like, I knew it would be pretty good. I was hoping it'd be pretty good, with the Max Stomper and then Bloom Seed Co's Peach Pie. But, it really came out very interesting. There's lots of colors. I see a lot of like bright reds and purples in the lines. The frost is just incredible. There's a lot of peach flavors that come through. There's some gas that comes through, but mainly it's peach, like you were saying. It's just an all around good one, man. And when we got to sample it from, I think it was Canaspam, the member that me and you met up with at a Next Level Hydro Store, like vendor day event.
Yes.
That stuff got me incredibly high. Like, I haven't been high like that since, high school, or very recently when I did grow out a bunch of other new strains after that. I found a few that got me high like that, but I haven't, it hits you like behind the eyes. It makes you really, know that you're high when you smoke it. It's not a creeper or anything like that. It gets you really, really high. So it's
straight to the dome.
Medicinal, yeah.
I found it to be very enjoyable and smooth. And what was interesting about those peach terps is it's like fresh peaches. A lot of the times when you get those fruit flavors, you get a version which I like, but I love, by the way, which is kind of an overripe version. You get like an overripe papaya, or you get like, kind of a rotten peach or a ripe apricot. But that Peachquake was like freshly picked, sweet peaches combined with gas. Peaches and gases is kind of an oversimplification, but cannot say enough good things about that strain. And this drop you're doing has a bunch of different crosses. So, dude, I'm hyped. Members are hyped, and I'm crazy hyped on this Peachquake line.
Yeah, I'm definitely stoked to be using a male from the Peachquake and hitting a bunch of strains, and also making F2s, because I do want to further the Peachquake line. And it's already very consistent for F1s. You see a lot of very similar looking plants. A lot of them come out the same, a lot of the same bud structure. But I still want to work it, into like an F5 or so, and make it even more consistent for people that, want to pop a pack of seeds and get that super red frosted up pheno that, you do see a lot. That is pretty consistent, but is also super, super potent and very medicinal, like we were talking about. So I do want to work that line further. And I have been looking through a bunch of males and selected one that I think, is going to be my favorite of the group. So it'll be an interesting pollination and see what comes out of it. And then we got all the new strains, like I was saying, from the last ton I did there's about 29 new females. So I picked the best ones out of there, and going to be pollinating those with the Peachquake along with the F2s, and then some of my own strains like the Supernova, Peach Supernova, I'll be hitting with the Peachquake. And it'll be exciting.
It'll be a good one, dude. Fuck yeah. Dying Star, we'll call that one, or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
I was stunned at the uniformity of the Supernova and of the Peachquake. The Peachquake are coming out so alike as F1s, like you said, stunning me. The Supernova also very similar looking. Yeah.
And really all three of those.
Really, really surprised. Whereas you take a look at some of the lycanthrope, and we're getting all sorts of expressions. I saw a lycanthrope today. I think it was, who posted that? I don't want to say the wrong person here. That outdoor one, was it Jesse? Was it member Jesse?
I believe so. Yeah, that one looked awesome, man. I was happy to see some outdoor and see that it was doing so well,
Holy fuck. Yeah, shout out to, we're shouting out a couple members, Canaspam's Peachquake and Jesse's outdoor lycanthrope, which he was getting lavender and dill notes from, and just frosty as fuck.
Yeah, that's incredible. An interesting profile.
Really, really impressive what people are doing in the membership with your genetics, Rich. A monster Scroggin, of course, just crushing his Scroggy, and follow him on IG. White Clouds Dan is another one who just killed the Peachquake. All of you members, shout out to everybody, but really some impressive Seed Co stuff going on. We won't dwell for too long, but we absolutely have to talk about a couple of the crosses just really quickly that we can expect. I mean, maybe just one or two. Dude, the truffle cake. You picked up that truffle cake. Oh, another member. Shout out to Farmer John for sending all sorts of genetics our way, dude. I think he was the one who sent that truffle cake. Man, who bred that truffle cake? Holy shit. That is one of the most unique cannabis buds, strains I've ever tried.
Yeah, that truffle cake is actually by in-house genetics.
Oh, duh. Of course it is.
Yeah, it's a cross of, I want to say, obviously probably the white truffle, which I believe is from Fresh Coast, cross to the pancakes.
Oh, okay. That's so interesting.
White truffle cross to pancakes. And it's funny because Farmer John sent me all the 29 new females I just ran were all from seeds. And he sent me all these seeds, and a bunch were in-house, relentless, compound.
There's a reason I changed his name to Hero Farmer John in the Discord.
Yeah, he sent some, and he just sent me about 20 more packs of different really, really fire stuff I'm about to look through. But the truffle cake in particular, he had popped some seeds, and I did. And I got 2 phenos that are absolutely incredible, super similar in flavor and look. One is slightly frostier, but not as dense, and the other one is denser. And I don't want to say less frost because you can't really tell by looking at it. I mean, maybe a little bit. But both of my phenos lean incredibly hard to the white truffle side. They even look like it, taste like it.
Yep.
And then his 2 phenos lean incredibly hard to the pancake side. So you definitely see some differences in those packs. But apparently his phenos are fantastic as well. So
wow.
But yeah, it's probably some of the best weed I've ever smoked.
That's what I'm saying. When you hand me that truffle cake, yeah, I can't think of something better off the top of my head. That was some of the best.
Yeah,
I mean, of course.
I mean, it's just, it's crazy. That white truffle, the mother, is just an amazing plant. And if you happen to get with the truffle cake, the white truffle leaners, you're in for a treat. It's like I said, it's got the bag appeal, it's got the taste. It flowers, and I don't want to say incredibly fast, but at 55 days you can pull it down.
Oh shit!
I ran mine to about 62, but yeah, you could pull them down at 55, and they're really good looking. I wouldn't run my phenos past 70 days. I did run some past 70 just to see what they do, and they look really good. They get super purple and end up looking like even more like the white truffle cut, but they seem to lose a little flavor and potency once they go past that mark, which I've seen with other cultivars when you run them past that, quote unquote, perfect, spot.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you got the leaner that you did off that, because if you're using that one with the Peachquake pollination, that's going to be insane. Listeners gotta stay tuned for that.
I'm not getting rid of it, either one of them. I want to keep both of them. So,
and we're going to get into Microbes in a sec. It is Microbe November, everybody, and we are getting there. But we got to talk Seed Co. These are available for non-members. By the way, members always get first dibs, of course, and a discount and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to put it out here for people to hear about the work you're doing, man. It's fucking out of this world. One more little highlight before we move on. The Peach Maraschino from Lovin in Her Eyes. Yeah, now this is a breeder we've brought up before on the show. I've always wanted to get her on. I hear she's very private. Maybe if you're a listener and you're a fan, maybe you can gently and politely prod her. My understanding is she's done work for other large breeders. Everything she puts out is fucking
Ethos,
fire.
I believe.
Ethos, that's right. So, and not only that, she's also very, very good at photography. So if you go to her page, which I'm sure has been taken down and put back up, and it might be, Lovin in Her Eyes 3.0 or whatever it is. You go to her page, it looks a lot like yours, Rich, where you got tons of extremely frosty, highly selected fire phenos, and then really good pictures, high quality images. And she bred that Peach Maraschino. That one was right up there with the truffle cake, dude. Holy shit. It was very enjoyable.
Oh, it definitely is. I got one pheno of that, and it was it is absolutely incredible. I have a bunch in the breeding tent right now, and those will be hit with the Peachquake as well. But yeah, it's like super gassy with a little cherry on the end. You can smell the cherry a little bit more when it's growing, but once it's cut and cured, it's really, really gassy, and the flavor's strong. So it's super enjoyable. It's nice and potent once again. So yeah, those two are probably two of the strains out of the next pollination that I have the most plants in the room of, because those two were such big winners, and I obviously wanted to make a ton of seeds of those two for this next pollination. So
Jesus Christ, dude, those are going to be the ones. Those are going to be the ones. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned, members. Again, shout out to everybody who helps make this possible. Everybody who sends us genetics to play with, and just you supporters. It's fucking incredible. Membership is just fucking bumping. there's actually some huge changes coming. Rich, I've told you a little bit about it. We're renaming membership. We're kind of giving it a feel and a name. And not only are you going to be able to get in the Discord and get your questions answered and hang out with the Gromies, you're going to be able to kind of work your way up in rank and get special, prizes and shit for your tent specific to your rank. We're doing some really, really cool stuff. So I do urge you, if you want to get in on all the action, come by, say hi, growcastpodcast.com/membership, and you won't regret it, man. You absolutely will not regret it. Because like I said, there's some big changes coming. Expect that in an update episode soon. It's really, really great stuff. I'm very, very grateful for all of you supporting members and what we've built, which is a positive cultivation community. Don't mean to dwell on it, but yeah, I'm really proud of what we've built, man. Positive growers who really do put the plant above everything else. A lot of people say that, right? A lot of people say like, oh, I'm for the plant, I'm for the grower, until you ask about a breeder that they don't like, or until you mention a light brand that triggers them or something. And it's like, dude, it's not the real spirit of the community. And I feel what we've built.
I just try to keep it positive, dude. I think that's what the whole GrowCast community is about. The Discord's fucking incredible, man.
So yeah, I appreciate everything you do, Rich, and all you members. Enough membership talk, though. The listeners are like, come on, this is Crobvember. We got to get into microbes here. I mean, we've had a hot month with Jeff and Judy and Mary Beth.
Oh, yeah.
Rich, I had to get you on, though, man, because you're a microbe guy, but you're not the old head style compost. You know what I mean? You are someone who's used what's available on these grow store shelves, and you've used just about every popular microbial product out there on the market personally, right?
Definitely not every, but I have used a lot. And I mean, I still use compost. I still use teas, but yeah, I definitely utilize different bottled microbial products that have certain things in them that I may be after that, without having testing or microscopes and stuff, it's a little bit harder to find out if that's going on in my compost or teas or whatever. So I like to have that kind of sure thing coming out out of the bottle and going into the garden. Knowing I'm getting this many, CFUs of this.
Propagules, yeah, totally. Whatever. Propagule. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you got it. Something funny, Rich, was Jeff Lowenfels on the show. He's such a nice guy. He's like, I think he's from Minnesota, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, that Midwestern mentality showed through because I got so many DMs after that episode. He came on and he said, I like a Myco brand that I stand behind. I put my name on it. And I'm like, what brand is that? He wouldn't say. He didn't want to hurt any feelings. He didn't want to step on any toes. That's how nice this guy is. I told him it's my show, rock and roll. I'm just going to say it when you're off air. Turns out it was a Myco company called Myco Apply. So to answer that and all those DMs that people were sending me and to call back on that Jeff Lowenfels episode, I guess he uses a product called Myco Apply. Looks like a good endomycorrhizal fungi. They also have a water-soluble one. That's pretty cool. A lot of the, my understanding is a lot of these mycorrhizal species are different species. They're all beneficial if they're endomycorrhiza, whether you're using, the Myco Apply or a Great White or a Dino Myco. The thing that Ari said about the Dino Myco that interested in me, did you catch that episode where he talked about how the Israeli strain was like more hardy and like a harder fighter in the soil?
I did. And, I told you because they sent us all on the GrowCast crew a nice big bag of the Dino Myco. And when I got it, I had told you I didn't know nothing about it. That, it was cool, but I don't really add any specific, Myco to the holes when I transplant.
Granular. You don't do granular. That's crazy.
No, I'm already, watering Myco in so many times a week with Photo Plus and getting it in with Recharge. Sometimes I'll throw a little Dino Myco or powder in the hole if I have it, but I'm not going to go out and spend extra money buying mycorrhizae when I have, 2 or 3 products that already have a bunch of Myco in it that I'm watering in. But I will admit that Dino Myco was super impressive. It did seem to put out a lot of roots and they just looked really happy and healthy. And I do remember him saying from that episode exactly what you said, that it was a hardier variety of mycorrhizae because I want to say it came from like a salt flat or something. So it was surviving out there. And if it could survive in, such harsh conditions like that, it should do great in your soil, under optimum conditions. So it made a lot of sense. And I did see really good positive things from using it. So I can't say anything bad about Dino Myco.
Yeah, man. And I think code GrowCast still works. Love Ari and everything he's doing. I want to see them come out with a straight liquid Myco like the Orca. That's what I generally, if I'm watering in Myco, I'll throw in that Plant Success Orca, just the straight Myco.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that one too. But any Myco you're using, you're going to be good with. Now, one of the things that's important about these microbial products is understanding the overlaps, understanding the redundancies, and maybe where they would conflict, right? So I'm going to ask you this, Rich, and I think you're going to give an interesting answer. Multiple people have said, the Trichoderma fungi. When you take a look at beneficial fungi in cannabis products, it's probably a mycorrhizae or it's probably a Trichoderma. And I believe it was Ari himself who was saying, that Trichoderma is very aggressive. So you might want to apply your Myco first and hold off on the Trichoderma. Mary Beth Sanchez even saying hold off till flower. But Ari said give it a week or two for the Myco to establish. Is that something you do? Or are you using Trichoderma, for instance, Recharge has Trichoderma in it? Are you using that early and often?
Yeah, I mean, there's Myco in Recharge and it has Trichoderma too. So I don't necessarily follow any hard rule of giving them a week or whatever. But you definitely make a good point there. Trichoderma is very, very aggressive, like you say. But I think overall, if you do have a relatively quote unquote balanced rhizosphere or balanced soil that everybody should be evening out and, being in the good numbers that they need to be to have that healthy soil. That's the hope, at least, unless your soil is, has issues or is off or something.
Or is overwatered or anaerobic. But something you said recently on an AMA, which speaks to what you just said, is interesting, which is if you're adding, for instance, Photo Plus regularly, you're increasing that mycorrhizal population.
Well, that was my next thing is, with all the products I use, the only one that I see that really has Trichoderma in it is Recharge. Right. And, I'm using Photo Plus. So really, and some other products that probably have a little bit of Myco in them too. So really, while the Trichoderma may be stronger, there's a lot more of the Myco probably being added than there is the Trichoderma. So, take that for what it is. And there's probably some evening out going on there too as well.
I'd imagine so. Or at least you're not going to see the extreme aggressiveness of the Trichoderma if you're constantly applying Myco, I would imagine. Again, it would only be truly solvable through a test. But I certainly see benefits from using both of those products in conjunction, all of those products in conjunction with each other, as opposed to separately. Whether you mix them or alternate is up to you. We have a great AMA in membership diving deep into that. But understanding those redundancies, I feel, is extremely important because there's some misconceptions, right? People are saying, talking about adding Orca, for instance, and calling it a bacteria. But really, that's a fungi. That's a beneficial fungi, and they don't compete as much with things like the bacteria products. I know you love Photo Plus, the Microbe Life Hydros Photo Plus, because it has both and everything, right? It has multiple species of mycorrhizae in the liquid, and it's got photosynthesizing bacteria and a little bit of nutrition, right?
Yeah, I want to say it has 11 different types of mycorrhizae in it.
Whoa.
It has the one kind of photosynthetic proprietary bacteria that they use, which is what I'm really after with the Photo Plus. And of course, the Myco is a nice touch. And then there's about 4 different kinds of bacillus in there as well. Oh, wow. And then, there's a tiny bit of, very small, tiny bit of nutrition, P and K in there.
That is fascinating, man. I think that's such a great additive product for soil. And shout out to the Microbe Life guys. They're just such good people. From my perspective, one of the harder things to recommend is depending on people's style. One of the reasons I love our great friends at Plant Success and their King Crab product is it is just so clean. It is just straight bacteria. There is no Myco in there. There is no nutrition. And another misconception, by the way, my understanding is not sea derived. The whole King Crab, Great White, that's just branding. It's not a sea product. It is like a Photo Plus. I believe those are bacteria that are cultured in a lab or something like that.
Yeah.
And so when people write me and they say, the king crab, I'm already using FOOP, so I'm getting the aquatic stuff. It's like, no.
I don't consider that the same at all.
Yeah, king crab is not a sea derived product. It's just called king crab, and it's got a crab on the front.
Absolutely, man. I would think that, and I know these are still 2 different products, but if you wanted to get similar with something, maybe like a FOOP and a fish shit would be pretty similar. The fish shit's not going to have the nutrition that the food is, but so far as like the actual beneficial bacteria you get from both, I would imagine it has some pretty similar stuff going on. There's probably some differences, but pretty similar overall.
Fermented, you're right, fermented fish waste, and they'll probably get some similar aquatic microbes. As you said, the fish shit, I use that early on seedlings, whereas the FOOP is a powerful nutrient delivery system. So you got to be careful. Kind of apples and oranges in that regard, but the microbes, I would totally agree. The other thing about FOOP that's interesting is they add humics and mycorrhizae to their liquid feed. Did you know that?
And silica too.
Oh yeah, silica
as well, which I found very interesting. It's already added in it, which is cool, you know.
Yeah, I like that, man.
I like the FOOP line. You know, I turned my dad onto it. He's been using it.
Dude, your dad is crushing.
Dude, some of the greatest results I've seen with such a simple ass recipe using, you know, a very simple soil mix of Box Farm fucking Ocean Forest and part Whitney Farm soil from Ace Hardware, and then some food and, you know, some additives that I sent him, you know, microbials like Photo Plus and Ramet. Some recharge, you know, shit like that. But overall, yeah, that's all it is. And he is, like you said, he's crushing it. So
I mean, you take a look at this guy. Just go follow Rhizo_Rich_ICC on Instagram and take a look.
Yeah, I have some new pics of his stuff up.
Yeah, take a look at Rich's dad's tent if you want to be jealous of a first-time grow. I mean, I know he used to grow in the past, but like it's a first run, you could say. And
this is only his second run indoors. So,
dude, he's crushing it. It's fucking crazy.
Great, man.
So funny when dads grow. Yeah, dude. So where were we there? Bacteria and and the king crab is cool because I can recommend it to anybody, dude. I would be a little bit worried putting in like a Photo Plus or definitely something like a fish shit into like a DWC system. I just don't know how it would work. You know what I mean?
Well, I know Photo Plus says it's hydroponics and aquaponics and aeroponics safe. So that one, I mean, personally, I don't know if I would, just because, you know, of how it is, and maybe it is fine. It says it's fine, but yeah, that would kind of maybe concern me too. Even if it is safe, I would imagine you'd probably have to do more water changes possibly. But that king crab is like crystal clear water, man. You could definitely throw a little bit of that in there. There's like no smell to it. You know, very clean, like you said.
Yeah, so that's why it's cool from like a membership perspective. I forget who it was. I'm so sorry that I'm forgetting your name right now, member. But somebody added Orca and king crab to their DWC, and their roots transformed. They didn't multiply into like a wizard's beard. They thickened up into like fucking tree roots.
Oh wow!
I swear to God, man, I'd never seen anything like it. He was going to do it, and I was like, king crab for sure. And I was like, Orca, I'm sure would be fine too. Although, you know, I've had guests come on and say, mycorrhizae doesn't do anything in DWC. It doesn't have time to attach to the roots or interact with the roots or whatever. I might have to push back on that just after seeing this guy's. I mean, again, maybe it was all the king crab. It's very unscientific, but I've heard multiple people now say king crab and Orca in a DWC fucking blow up those roots, dude.
Oh, I could see it, man. Absolutely. And I mean, even Photo Plus, I'm sure maybe if you cut like the dosage in half, it wouldn't, you know, the smell, and it would be so diluted, it probably wouldn't affect anything. But I think you're going to see some benefit in DWC from microbes, you know, maybe not as much as somebody in soil, but you're still going to see some benefit from it, you know.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking too. And after that photographic evidence, I'm certainly inclined to believe that. So shout out to the DWC growers who are implementing microbes. That's fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
We'll be right back with Rhizo Rich, but before that, Plan to Success, aka Plant Revolution. PlantRevolution.com, you've seen their great white Myco. We've been talking about it this very episode. Like I said, I love their Orca. It's my go-to liquid Myco product. When you need just that Myco early on, give it that inoculation it needs. Start your seeds with some Myco, you guys. I know I said in this episode that it's nice because I can recommend it to DWC growers, but really anybody who's starting seeds should be considering getting some mycorrhizal inoculation on there early and often after that. And Orca is great because it's got nothing else in it. So you get the Orca liquid mycorrhiza, make sure you get the Myco Chum. It doesn't matter what products you're using, you need to be feeding that beneficial bacteria and all of the microbes in your soil. So grab the Myco Chum from Plant Revolution and the Great White line. And that Myco Chum is going to, it's going to act like chum for your mycorrhiza and all your beautiful microbes. So that's what you're after. That's what you want. and make sure that you are using the Myco Chum to maximize the soil life and biology in your medium. PlantRevolution.com. Find them in your local hydro store. Find them everywhere. Proud partners here at GrowCast. Plant Revolution, baby. Thank you to Plant Revolution. All right, let's get back to it with Rhizo Rich.
What else do we got here? You know, a product that I've never tried that a lot of people have is that Herb Natural. I know it's a little bit older. Isn't that kind of an older cannabis-facing microbe product?
I don't know about it necessarily being older, but it has been out for a few years now. I tried it once in the past. But yeah, it's been out for, I can't say exactly, but I know when I went to the High Times Cup a couple years ago, it had come out pretty recently, and they were there giving out samples and shit.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was like a, kind of older school. Maybe I'm just
it may be, and I just thought it was new, but I know it kind of popped up on the scene a couple years ago, and it kind of became a thing.
It looks like a mostly bacterial product. If I'm just pulling this up now, I should know more about this before I start speaking on it. But this is another cannabis-facing microbial product that I believe is primarily bacteria. But I'm trying to get a definitive answer on that as we speak.
Yeah, I don't remember what exactly they were putting in there. I really can't remember what it was supposed to be comparable to as well, because there was a product that they kind of came out, when they came out, that they were supposed to be pretty similar to, and people were kind of, using one over the other. Let me see.
Bacillus species. Oh, it does have Trichoderma in it. Wow. So the species in are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bacillus species and Trichoderma arzanium. That appears to be it.
Gotcha.
Wow. So it's bacteria and a little Trichoderma. Again, that's super important to know if you're someone who's thinking about this fungi's establishing time and when you time these microbial products. If you're using herb and you're wanting your mycorrhizae to get established first, hold off on the herb until you give the myco a couple of weeks to, if that's something that you subscribe to, give myco a couple of weeks to establish.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Interesting. Someone was recently on the show. It was the Spectrum King, Brandon from Spectrum King. He was talking about BioCap More. This is one that I'm going to try. It's got like fucking 100 or 600 or some ridiculous.
Oh yeah, you were
telling
me about that.
Yeah, and it's cheap too, man. So I'm checking out the BioCap.
Very
More
interesting.
Yeah, I'll get you a bottle. I'll grab 2.
I'll have to try it for sure. It looks
for sure, man. Super cost effective on that one. Another one that I'm looking to try that someone's going to hook me up with, again, Molokai Kevin, a recent GrowCast TV guest. Out here in Hawaii, everybody uses this stuff called BAM. BAM, I'm going to Google it right now. Not BAM Margera, BAM Microbial Inoculant.
I could see Google giving you that.
BAM Microbial Inoculant. Let's see if I can find this. Terraganics. It's not even coming up. Beneficial anaerobic microbes is what BAM stands for. What the fuck? Ag salt. So this is what everybody uses out here in Hawaii. And
lactic acid bacteria. So it's a probiotic blend. Okay.
And it's safe to consume for humans. This is one of those things that like people drink. Those K&F guys. Exactly. They make labs and they eat it, for instance, or they make FFJ and they eat it. I've seen people drinking this stuff. I am not telling you to drink anything that you buy intended for your garden. But apparently this is safe to drink. And does it? Yeah, did you say that it's mostly labs?
Products too. And it's also pretty effective to treat stagnant manure ponds. Wow.
This is a wild one. And Molokai Kevin just swears by this shit. He says that you blast this stuff in kind of the outdoor Hawaiian grow, and it'll extract everything you need. Yeah. Man.
Okay. So I gotcha.
It's effective as a compost accelerant, stubble digester, pathogen suppressor, and it detoxifies chemical residues. So apparently this one was
treatment too. You can use it in your septic tank. Wow.
He told me that this was developed to remediate nuclear soil. I forget if it was Hiroshima or Chernobyl or it was somewhere in the mid 1900s, and apparently they were trying to come up with a microbial inoculant to remediate the irradiated soil, and this is what they came up with, and they ended up using it for a bunch of other stuff.
It's pretty amazing, man, what microbes can do. I know microbe life is in a bunch of other sectors of industry like pet care. And then they also make like petroleum spill cleanup bacteria.
Right.
So like when there's a petroleum spill, you know, you can dump this shit out there and the microbes, you know, help to do whatever to it to, I guess, make it more safe and shit. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. There's some pretty crazy strong microbes out there that do some awesome things, you know.
It's fucking magic. I've heard the same thing about fungi, remediating oil spills and things like that. It's so crazy. It's like this is the technology that we save the world with.
Oh, definitely. You know, I could see it happening that way.
If I can just quickly throw out a quick plug, because I did just do an episode on my other show, the Coffee, Health, and Science podcast, and it ties in pretty well. Sanjeev Chopra, Harvard medical director, came back on. He's a friend of the show, and he's fucking awesome. But he was talking about microbiology. He was talking about fucking natural birth and inoculating your human immune system. And if you're interested in kind of the health side of this and the rhizosphere's continuation into our microbiome when we consume fucking food that came from the ground, I advise go checking out that episode. It's a wild episode, and it's really all tied together. Like you said, not just microbes in our garden, but like microbes in medicine and microbes to maybe save the planet from destructive forces. Like, it's pretty fucking crazy, man. Big implications with these microbes.
It is, man. It's really cool. It really is, you know. They're doing a lot, and they're the unseen workers, you know.
Totally. Absolutely. But yeah, anyways, NTS BAM. NTS is Nutrotech Solutions, and the product is called Life Force BAM. Kevin was talking this stuff up, and I've never seen it before. I'm definitely trying that. I would feel bad if I left out a major brand while we were talking about all the stuff we love here. We talked about Microbe Life. Their whole line is fucking sick. Same thing with Plant Success. They've got other products like that Myco Chum to feed your bacteria and stuff like that. We talked about Recharge. We talked about Herb. We talked about BAM and more. Dino-Myco. And there's so many good mycos. As long as you have that mycorrhizal fungi, you'll be good. You know, like I said, Great White, Bigfoot, all great options. Did we cover everything, or do we miss something?
Mammoth, that's probably...
Oh, duh, of course. Holy fuck, Mammoth, of course,
you know,
yeah.
We covered microbes good, but that's probably the one that kind of does its own thing. That's another, you know, beneficial microbe. Also has the trichatinol in it too, you know, that natural PGR.
So their Mammoth P, their proprietary bacterial formula, I understand. And like you said, or like we've talked about in the past, it's called Mammoth P for the phosphorus uptake, that bacteria apparently increasing the availability of phosphorus in your medium. But do all 3 or 4 species in there do that? I imagine that they probably do more than just that, right?
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. I know there's at least the one that's phosphorus fixing, but I don't know if all 3 or 4 are. I know they looked through a bunch of different microbes and picked the ones that were the best and, you know, fixed the phosphorus the most, made it more available. But I'm not sure if that's all 3 or 4 or just one of them. It's a great question.
I can't imagine that they all do the same thing. I bet Mammoth P does a little bit more than just fix that phosphorus, like you're saying. But yeah, obviously we know it does, again, because like you said, the trichatinol, natural PGR. Yeah, totally. Which increases your yield, supposedly, right? Just increases the flower production and density of your buds, is my understanding.
Yeah, it's just another, you know, plant growth regulator, but a natural or organic one that you can find in like alfalfa. It's my understanding, though, like I mix alfalfa into my soil and into my teas and stuff. But it's my understanding that the trichatinol in it is very, very minimal, and that it is also not very plant available. It's very hard to get out and make plant available. So that's why I still like to kind of put that Mammoth on top for the phosphorus fixing bacteria, and then the little bit of trichatinol that's way more plant available than the alfalfa that I'm throwing in my soil. So at least I know they're getting a little boost to that, and, you know, give them a little help in flower, increase the yield, like you said. It's a great product, man. It's expensive, but you only need a tiny bit, and it lasts forever. So,
yeah, that's a good point. Grab yourself one of those little bottles, and it'll last you a long time. And by the way, I know that we're honkies. I believe it was trichatinol. I believe it's triacontinol.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep saying it.
Kind of weird.
I'm just gonna keep saying it like I fucking am from the Midwest. And You ain't got to do that.
Right.
Try to go to the car. Honk, honk. Everything we say is honky, so forgive me. But yeah, that's the trichotinol. And I heard someone say, oh, it's not, it gets boiled off in the process for Mammoth or something. I don't think that's true. I spoke to the guys at Mammoth, and I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't think that's true either, because they definitely advertise it with it in there and, make sure it's on the label and stuff. So there's got to be a certain amount that's available to, I would assume, to allow them to be able to put it on the label.
And it fucking works, dude. It's not just it's not just solubilizing phosphorus. We know, speaking to Brandon Rust and guys like this who talk about what plants consume, I imagine this Mammoth is doing more. But obviously the phosphorus also very, very important. Mammoth is just killing it lately. I really like those guys. Colin was on the show, Colin Bell, a million years ago. We should have him back on. They're doing the silica now, the salicylic acid. And good on him.
Yeah, I'm using that stuff right now. It works great.
Power to him.
I actually just sent my dad some Mammoth tea to use for the first time, and he's already even claiming that he's seeing, differences. Now, mind you, he's only a couple grows into his growing, but
no way.
All excited and stoked about it,
I take his word. I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it, dude. That's too fucking funny. So shout out to Mammoth again. Cannabis facing. All of these products are going to be. Here's how we'll wrap it up. All of these products are going to be from smaller companies. They're going to be smaller productions. They're going to be smaller bottles. They're going to be targeted towards smaller growers, and they're going to be more expensive by volume. That's just how these companies are able to operate right now. One of the things, very effective. And again, if the price point is within your range, go and grab it. That being said, Queen of the Sun was talking on our show and had some really cool input when it came to going to the big ag sources. If you've got a large fucking scale, you go get yourself some of that bio ag trichoderma. Again, go back and listen to the Queen of the Sun episode where she talks about microbial inoculants. But basically, there's a vial, an eyedropper vial of trichoderma that you use 1 drop per 10 gallons of water. And it is just loaded with trichoderma. And the thing is way cheaper than any of these products that we're talking about. Again, because it's formulated for a large scale and it's designed for big ag. She said the same thing about a bacterial inoculant, again, I think from that same bio company. And she even said the same thing about indole 3-butyric acid, which is the active ingredient in most of your cloning gels. If you can get your hands on some of that pure powder, mix it up yourself, you're going to save a shit ton of money. Now, again, to be clear, it's like if you're just a home grower, you might be better off just picking up a bottle from your local store. But I did want to shout out this kind of circumventing the cannabis-facing companies and going to the big ag sources if you need a more cost-effective option.
You definitely can, man. I mean, and a lot of these companies do sell, big amounts of these, but it is going to be pricier than if you kind of mixed it up on your own or attempted to,
Right. Or go to these non-cannabis facing ones are much cheaper and much more highly inoculated. It's for like acreage, it says like apply this much per hectare. And I'm like, okay, what percentage of a hectare is my grow tent?
Yeah, that's pretty hard. That can be hard to figure out for sure.
Exactly. So again, get what works for your situation, but had to throw that out there. Shit, dude, does that wrap it up? I feel like that was a damn good microbial product overview.
Yeah, man, we covered some really good products. Like I said, all the ones we talked about are ones that we've tried that are, effective and worth spending the money on. There can be some redundancy, like you said, in some of them, but overall, there should at least be, a specific reason why you're using each one, whether it's the photosynthetic bacteria, or the phosphorus fixing, or the trichoderma, or whatever. If you have a little overlap with some mycorrhizae species between products, I really wouldn't fret it,
One of them is probably going to be ideal for your situation, right? One of them is going to like
probably
shit you got going in your tent. So I say the more the merrier.
I do too. And, a lot of these products have different amounts of the species, CFUs or colony forming units, some may have a smaller percent, some may have a bigger percent. So while there may be some redundancy, it might not be as redundant as you think.
True. Yeah. And again, as long as they're not antagonizing each other, like you said, I would not worry too much. As long as you're not worried about that interaction between aggressive fungi and less aggressive fungi, just do what works for you, man. Alternate if you're looking to kind of use your microbial products slower. Mix them together if you want to see how the kind of microbe soup does. Most importantly, implement these products in your grow. If you're not using beneficial bacteria and beneficial fungi, that is maybe the single biggest thing you could change without changing anything else to increase your quality and yield. Would you agree with that, Rich?
I totally agree, man. Absolutely. And, if you can't afford, and you can do this even if you can't afford, some bottled microbes, you can still do this too. But if you can't, brew up a simple compost tea of, a handful of earthworm castings or something that does have some beneficials in it that you can, water into your garden and get some kind of beneficial microbe in there, regardless.
Rice and milk. Get yourself some labs. You can do it for virtually for free.
Labs. Do something, but there's plenty of ways to get them in your garden if you need to.
Love it, dude. Love it. I know you listeners love it. Enjoy the microbe product exploration, and we'll do more. We'll probably, we'll get some ferment guys on, and we'll have Rich back on and all that fun stuff. Rich, I know we have a heart out here. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for everything you do, brother. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to the listeners and members. I appreciate everybody.
Man, we're going live every Wednesday night with GrowCast TV. And then on Saturdays, we're doing the AMA with Rich, with Mary Beth, with Wolfman. Get in membership, everybody. That's the way to do it. Hop in now when you hear this episode. I'll refund that first fee, so you get to try it out for free for a couple of days. And I know you'll love it. So I'll see you in there, everybody. We got to run for now. This is Jordan River and Rhizo Rich signing off, wishing everybody an extraordinary day. Be safe out there, everybody, and grow smarter.
Later on.
That's our show for today, everybody. Thank you for tuning in so much. I appreciate you. Be sure to, like I said in the show, come on and check out membership. We're limiting the current package we have to 420 members, and we may have hit it by the time you've heard this. Jump in, man. It's exclusive, baby. Before we wrap it up, though, we're going to give some love to our sponsor, Rimrock Analytical. This is our choice sex testing partner and more. RimrockAnalytical.com is where you can find them, and code GrowCast gives you free shipping on all of your tests. Be sure to ask for bulk pricing as well, no matter what test you run. Now, you've heard me talk about the gender ID test. Everybody should be using these if they pop regular seeds. Have some ready to go. Get these tests sampled and out when they're seedlings. You don't have to waste any time sexing your plants, any nutrients, any soil, any of that. But also don't sleep on Rimrock's other tests. They have soil tests, plant tissue tests, so much more. It's all at rimrockanalytical.com, and use code GrowCast. You're supporting this show, you're supporting a small business, and most of all, you're improving your garden techniques. Rimrock Analytical, code GrowCast. Thank you all so much. By the time you're hearing this, I am back in Chicago from the islands, and we're going to NECANN shortly. That's the New England Cannabis Festival, but they're coming to Chicago December 4th and 5th. Come on down if you're in striking distance of Chicago. December 4th and 5th, I'll see you there. There will be a bunch of listeners, a bunch of members there, a ton of members coming out. Special thanks to all the members coming out to say, hey, cannot wait to hang with you Gromies. All right, everybody, that's all for today. Take care out there. Be safe, grow smarter.